Hi folks, it's Mark again. I've been using the high-tech diamond all you need 8-inch flat lap now for about 4 months. And during that time I've ground many geodes and thunder eggs, including this latest batch of Dugway thunder eggs here. And today what I wanted to do is share with you some of the things that I've learned during that time so that you can get the most that this machine is capable of doing. But first, what I'd like to do is show you a short video clip of these finished Dugway thunder eggs so that you can see just how well this little machine here can perform. Now what I'd like to do is just draw on my experience and share some suggestions with you on how to get good results when you use this machine here. So I have a number of suggestions, and so let's just start. Suggestion number one, have patience. I cannot stress this one enough. This is coming from a person who continually has to work on his patience. But I tried to do this faster, believe me. I figured there had to be a faster way to do this, and so I tried. But what I ended up with were highly polished geodes and thunder eggs with deep scratches underneath the polished veneer. And in a minute, I'll share with you some suggested grinding and polishing times that you can use with this. But I cannot stress this first point enough. You've got to have patience. This is not, let's see how quick we can do it kind of a thing. Suggestion number two, point number one, patience is especially important if you're going to only use the discs that came with the original kit. And I'll explain more about that here in a moment. Suggestion number three, save yourself a lot of fiddling during the grinding and polishing process by using a little bit of painter's tape to tape this splash guard down. If you don't, this little cup here full of water tends to cock this thing back and forth, and you'll be fiddling with it all during the process, and it just makes it a lot more easy and straightforward with a little painter's tape, which again comes off really easy. Suggestion number four, don't forget to use personal protective equipment or PPE. I've already covered that in some detail in some previous videos, so I'm not going to take the time to do that here. Suggestion number five, keep this disc wet throughout the entire process per the recommendations, and check your specimen regularly during the process. Again, turn the machine off and check it. Yes, this takes time, but it is very important that you do that. What I like to do is take the specimen off and wipe it off with a paper towel so that it's dry, and then I use a 10 times jeweler's loupe. This allows me to see things that my eye doesn't always pick up, and it's really worked well for me. So again, good investment if you're going to be doing this on a regular basis. As I mentioned, the first time I did this, I tried to be efficient, and I thought that there weren't any scratches because I couldn't really see a lot of them until I was done. But then when I looked, there were many, and when I put this loupe on my original batch of geodes, they were scratched all to pieces. And so this is a little bit funny, but being the person that I am, on the next batch, I actually went overboard the other way, and I spent way more time than was needed on each stage just to make sure. And so a suggestion I'm going to offer throughout this video is to let the specimen determine for you how long to spend on each stage. by, examining it clearly with the loop here, and then you'll do it just right. Suggestion number 6, and this is very important. I need to stress this again. You can get excellent results with this machine by simply using the discs that came originally with the kit, okay? It may take a little bit longer, but you can get excellent results doing that, and I have. That said, I decided that I was going to purchase some additional discs to kind of make the transitions between some of these discs a little less severe and hopefully make the process a little smoother, which it actually has. So let me just run you through what I did. I purchased an 80 grit disc, which I have on the machine right now. And of course, the first one that comes with the kit's 180, so this is 100 less, 80. It's very, very coarse. What I found is that when I did not use this vise here to cut my geodes, when I just fed them through by hand, the cuts were not, just sharp, and some of them had waves in them. And it took me so much time with the 180 degree disc here that I think that this was one of the best things I bought. It cuts down the irregularities very quickly and gives you a flat surface to work with. So great purchase there. I also purchased a 220 grit smoothing disc, this one right here, to make the jump between the 180 and the 325 a little less severe. And again, it's worked great. And finally, I purchased this 3000 grit disc, okay, to go between the 1200 grit disc and the final polishing disc here where you put the 14,000 grit paste on it. And I'll talk more about all of this in a moment. Suggestion number 7. Remember that every specimen is unique. And again, this has to be emphasized. This is not a place for a one-size-fits-all approach. You get it down and you do it exactly this and this and this. It's not going to work because every specimen is a little bit different. And if you're going to use an one-size-fits-all approach, prepare yourself for disappointment. That's all I can say. Again, I'm speaking from experience here. So the key, again, is to regularly check your specimen throughout the process, dry them off, take the time to look at them for the scratches, make sure they're all gone before you proceed to the next stage, and you will be a lot happier with your work. So what I've done, as I said earlier, is I've created a chart with suggested grinding and polishing times. And what I'd like to do now is walk you through that chart. As you can see along the top, I have the disc. So under that column is the grit of the disc being used. In the second column is the suggested grinding / polishing times, the parameters or the range that I found the most useful. And then in the third column, there are appropriate notes. So let's just walk down through the chart together. 80 grit. Once I purchased the 80 grit disc, I found that this, again, really helped me cut down to flat the irregular surfaces that are produced when I hand feed a rock through the trim saw. And I'm very, very happy that I got that. I mean, it makes real quick work of that. The 180 grit disc, I found, well, let me go back to the first one for a second. On the 80 grit disc, as you can see, that's 9 to 12 minutes. Okay, and again, it depends on the specimen. The 180 degree disc, 6 to 12 minutes. And as you can see in the notes here, it often takes less time on the 180 degree stage if you have first used the 80 degree first. Now, this is really important. When I use the vise, and you can hear it here in the background, with my slab saw, I don't even have to use the 80 grit disc. I can start with the 180 degree disc most of the time. Okay, moving down the chart, the 220 grit disc, I use that for 4 to 6 minutes. The 325 grit disc, I use that for 4 to 6 minutes. The 600 grit disc I used for 3 to 5 minutes. The 1200 grit disc I used for 3 to 4 minutes. And then the 3000 grit, one of the new ones that I purchased, 3 to 4 minutes. And then finally you see the 14,000 grit paste on the felt polishing pad. I found about 1 minute works great for that. Now you'll notice that down at the bottom, the little asterisks, those indicate the discs that are included in the all-you-need flat lap kit when you buy it. And again, you can get great results with just those if you'd like. Personally, I'm very happy I purchased the additional discs. Okay, a little bit about the rotational speed. You can see the dial here. Which number should you set the disc to as you work through? And so here's what I found. I found that for the coarser, the grinding discs, the 80 and the 180, I would start with about 3.5 and then move it up to about 5.5 after a couple of minutes. That seemed to work good for me. For the 220 disc, through the 3000 discs here, the smoothing discs, I found that working speed of 5.5 worked good for all of those. And then finally for this felt polishing pad here, I found that a speed of about 3 to 3.5 seemed to work best for me. Now, as you work with this, you're going to find maybe something works a little bit different from what I do because you're a different person. You may have a different technique. You may push harder or lighter than I do. And so use this as a starting point to come up with your own range in terms of the speed that you use. I hope you found this information helpful as you work to create your own workflow and your process in using the all-you-need 8-inch flat lap. And just a note here, if some of you decide that you would like to supplement the discs that came with the kit with some additional ones here, you can use my discount code. I am a High Tech Diamond affiliate, and you'll get a 10% discount if you use my code. And I'll also put that down in the description so that you can always find it there. And obviously I make a little bit of commission on that as well. Thanks for watching my video. I hope it was helpful, and I hope that you have a lot of fun and that you bring joy to others as well through your work in lapidary.